Welcome, everybody. My name is Elisabetta. You might know me from previous webinars or not. And today I'm joined by Michele Ruini, Head of Product. First of all, many thank you for joining us today. We're going to wait just maybe 1 minute for everybody to join. But in the meanwhile, just a quick note on how today will work. So some of you submitted questions when registering, so we prioritize those, and we will be tackling them in the slides that Mike is going to show to make sure that we hit the topics that you care about the most. As always, we will share a presentation, but we also want this to be a conversation. So if something that Mike says sparks your interest, or you have some questions that you didn't ask at registration, obviously drop your question in the Q&A box that you see below. And if time permits, we will answer it live, or if it requires a more complex and in-depth answer, we will follow up personally via email. Then, as always, recording, we are going to record the session. So we're going to send a link to our registrants at the end. If you didn't make to attend, that's also a good way to still see the content of this webinar. So I think we can start to move towards the presentation and get into the head of the matter. If Mike, you want to quickly introduce yourself, and then we can start with the topic of today, which is the MCP connector and how you can connect it into your AI stack. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining, and thanks, Elisabetta, for setting this up. Yeah, thanks for the intro. So my name is Michele. I'm currently the head of product at Wonderflow. And like Elisabetta said, so today we are here to talk about MCP Connector, which is something very important for us, and for which we think we will see a very relevant adoption in the next months. So before I go into the details, so just for those of you who don't know Wonderflow, so Wonderflow, let's say our mission is to make it easy for you and your agents, okay, to work with product intelligence from consumer, okay, and so this is this mission. Let's say it's the MCP. It's a big cornerstone for this mission, because it's actually a launchpad, because we strongly believe that it's enabling a much more adoption of consumer intelligence, product consumer intelligence inside enterprises. So I'll start with the story, because this is something that happened recently. So we have to change actually the I decided to change the presentation based on this, because it's a quite let's say spot on story. So let's say recently we had a team from one of our customers who came to me and say, we want to we have to join an hackathon, an internal hackathon, and we have a use case, but we're not technical. So we don't know how to code, we know nothing. And the use case is, we want to build an agent that can, warn us, okay, when something relevant happens from consumer feedback. So let's say, bad reviews are popping up for this product that just launched, or a specific topic, a specific issues is mentioned in the customer reviews, and we want to receive a notification when this happens. So let's say that if they would have asked me this, let's say 1 year ago, I would have said, I would have sent them away, okay, for two main reasons. One reason is that, they're not technical team. So how can they think of building an agent or even integrating data? So would have been very difficult if they didn't have access to tech IT. And so, but possibly the second showstopper is that even if, let's say, they manage to have an agent, then it's like, out of the box agent, they know nothing about consumers. Okay. The agent that they have built, they cannot fulfill the use case, okay, because it doesn't have access to data that allows them to do it. Okay. So this is, like going back to today, okay, the answer was the exact opposite. I said, that's perfect. You can actually join the hackathon, and not only you can do it, but you can maybe do it in 5 minutes stop, I think. So you can create your own prototype in less than 5 minutes. And because today you guys have the tools that enable you to do that. So the first tool is like now there are agents platform that allow you to create agents, okay, with no technical skills. You just go there, you chat with them, and all of a sudden you have an agent. Of course, it changes from platform to platform, okay? But let's say it's much, much easier. Even a business user can do it. And then the second main ingredient that was not available is a way for these agents to access to trusted and reliable consumer intelligence. And that tool is what we are presenting today is Wonderflow MCP Connector. So, which is actually a door that it's a door that the agents that the agent that they are building can open to access to knowledge, consumer insights stored inside Wonderflow platform. And so before, let's say we go into the MCP, so what can you do with the MCP? So let's say you have an AI client like Claude or Copilot, and so how can you use the MCP? So there are two ways, okay? The trivial one, it's like you connect to it and then you start chatting with your agent, and your agent can tap on Wonderful data. So as Elisabetta said, we received 2 questions earlier. And so I just went on my Claude Cowork account and I said, I want to know what expert or early adopter users are talking about, okay, for a specific product. What are they highlighting? How they are, let's say, rating this product? And I said, Claude, can you build me a dashboard? Okay. And so what Claude did, okay, it built the dashboard, but what it did before, it used the Wonderful MCP to get the data that populate the dashboard. And I literally did this in 2 minutes before joining the session. Okay. And then another use case that was submitted was like, I want to know which are the products who have the highest number of organic reviews in a specific categories, like in this case, air fryers. Again, simple prompt. He connected to the Wonderful MCP, and then he returned this chart. It could have been a, a presentation or a summary, okay. But again, what makes it possible is not how the data is presented, but what is the information that is used to create the representation of the data. And luckily, in Wonderflow, we have this level of indexing, this level of information, so we can Claude, in this case, can easily and quickly extract this knowledge and give it back to the user. Okay, so this is the ad hoc prompting, and then we have the most interesting use case, which is the one of the hackathon. Okay, you can use the MCP to build an agent. Okay, and again, you can do it in literally even 5 minutes. So in this case, in this slide, I will show it in a second, but I asked the Claude to create a notification for a specific product, like warn me every week, because we're refreshing data on a weekly basis for this product when new reviews are coming in that are reporting bad smells or chemicals. And it did. Okay, so it created the notification, and I got this notification saying that this week we received 1 reviews from Best Buy of people complaining about bad smell. Okay, 5 minutes. And again, all it took, it's like, it took me like going on Claude Cowork. And again, I'm using Claude Cowork because it's what we use at Wonderflow for enterprise agentic platform and for operations. And I basically asked the prompt. But again, you can use Copilot, you can use whatever client that supports MCP Connector. And so you just ask it to set up a notifications. Like in this case, I want a notification to know when to fire each month when someone is complaining about not having received spare parts actually missing. Is complaining about having not received accessory within their Dyson V50 Absolute, okay? So when I fire this, then the agent, let's say, starts working, and it's creating, because Claude Cowork can do it, okay, a new agent that actually is probing every month Wonderflow data for feedback that are containing this specific topic. And again, the magic is it's happening here, but the real magic is happening in the Wonderful platform, because we have a way to extract this type of topics from the data, and then the agent can retrieve them, okay? So the agent now it's working. I don't want to make you wait, but it's literally in 5 minutes, basically, you can get the notification set up. It's creating the schedules, and I had an example here. So this is it the exact notification I asked it to fire. So it's like in the last month, so we found 2 reviews, 2 feedback that were highlighting the lack of parts. And again, both were coming from Costco. So it's also suggesting just the channel manager to raise a flag to the e-commerce that something is happening with their shipment department. Okay. So yeah, so this is, you see, it's scheduled. Okay, this is now it's live. It's creating the schedule. Now let's give it some time, but in a moment it should be done with it. There you go. Notification created. Okay. Okay, it's sending me the notification the 1st of August. So I will see what's up then. Okay. So fantastic. So we built a new agent, and again, we can have as many notifications as we want. So for the V15 or the Ninja food processor, whatever, we can decide the topic. It's completely up to us to create these use cases using the agent, and Wonderful MCP Connector. So again, so very easy, very nice, but people tend to just focus on what they can see. So the response of the agent. What they don't see is actually, which is the easy part, you see, just Claude made it in runtime. He created a new notification system in 2 minutes. What you don't see is actually what Claude is doing behind the scene with our MCP and with our data. Okay. So the agent can actually fulfill a specific use case such as this, because it has first of all access to an MCP connector, and then the MCP connector expose highly indexed, cleaned, and reference data stored in the Wonderful platform. So this is something which is very relevant. Okay, no data, no insights, no use case. And then another thing that it's worth mentioning is because when we talk about this, I know that people start saying, okay, it's just what I know that my IT will start complaining that I am using, for security or governance issue. And so what can I do? So it's something that it's still doable. You don't need to worry about it, because again, what we have in place, so the MCP connector sits already on top of an enterprise grade governed platform like Wonderflow, that it's already included. Your user are already using. So the agent is actually a new user to the platform, and it's following the same rule, the same access level control, the same boundaries, the same permissions. So there is no fear, nothing to fear from IT or from a governance point of view, because this is fully compliant with what you're already using. And again, this is how a voice of the customer MCP integration would look like. Okay, so on the left here you have the Wonderflow platform that is basically your repositories of consumer knowledge from a variety of sources, like reviews, social, internal data like surveys, support tickets. Okay, whenever there is a feedback, you can basically store it on Wonderflow. We take care of indexing, enriching it with AI, referencing to product. Okay, so that it can be used Used by what? Used by your agents that sits inside your agentic infrastructure via the Wonderflow MCP. Okay, so inside your agentic infrastructure, you can have the voice of the customer notification agent, like the one of the hackathon. We can have an agent for optimizing PDP, so product pages. Okay, an agent that can submit change ticket to your engineering team for relevant issues that are affecting your products. And again, all these agents, they are connected, hopefully, to other MCP. I call them operational MCP, which are the MCP that are actually making things happen. But if they're leveraging the knowledge from consumer that is coming from Wonderful, they can do a better job at running their use cases. So they can send meaningful notification, they can write better content for the product pages, they can open meaningful high priority tickets for things that really matter. Okay, that's more or less how your agentic infrastructure could work, and why it's important that you have a knowledge MCP like the one from Wonderflow, okay, integrated into your system. So this is an example on how the PDP agent, so the product page optimization agent, could work. Let's say you have it implemented in your system. You're a user. You said, okay, we're noticing this negative spike of performance for a specific product on a specific e-commerce. So let's refactor the page. So what the agent will do, so the user gives a prompt, the agent it connects, say, on Salesforce, because you're storing this information. The content is stored on Salesforce. It's pulling the page content, then it's connected to the Wonderful MCP, and then it's checking on what people are talking about that product on that e-commerce specifically, what they're praising, okay, they're praising for competitors to find gaps, okay. Then what it does, it put these two things together, okay. Maybe there is like a sub-skill or an agent that is programmed to create a new content based on these two input. And then what it does, it upload via Salesforce, it upload the content of the page to the e-commerce. Okay. So this flow that maybe a year ago would have involved 2-3 people, maybe in a week, it can be fulfilled. Let's say it can be run literally in minutes. Of course, there are checkpoints because, the user might want to check the content of the page, make correction, validate a few things, rerun maybe some deep dive intelligence inside Wonderful data. So, but still, it's one person and an agent and a few minutes compared to a week. Big change. Other use cases. So we have also this idea we heard these use cases also from our customers to validate things. So going back to the example of you have the notification agent that's telling you that a specific formula change you did started raising a complaint. So you see the notification, and then you say, okay, I'm managing this product. I want to validate a few things around about the new formula. And so what I do is just like, I have an agent that is basically, I ask the agent, let's validate it. Okay. And what the agent does, it's connecting to Wonderflow to get actually example of feedback that are containing these complaints and that are more detailed. And then it uses this content and the audience that it's creating from Salesforce data. Again, it's building the audience, the content from Wonderflow, and then it's creating a survey maybe on using the Medallia MCP, and then it's sending the survey via Medallia, okay, to the audience. Then I didn't put it here, but one loop that the agent could do could also stream back the responses to Wonderflow so that they are stored in the same place where the reviews are, and so they can be used to further analysis. Okay, so this is an example of how the MCP can be used. Again, if there wasn't a Wonderful MCP, first of all, they wouldn't have received the notification. Second, maybe the survey would have been poorer in structure and less detailed. Another example, it's like you have an agent to build marketing campaign. So you have Wonderflow. Again, it's quite easy. So you're launching a new product in a specific market, product in a specific market. So you're checking on Wonderflow data for how people are talking about this specific. I don't know if I can pronounce it. Hyaluronic acid product. I picked a very complex name, and then you use this content. You use maybe the praises about this content, about this type of formula. You pass them to you take specific example from Wonderflow, from the reviews, and then you take the verbatims and you pass them maybe to Gemini or to another image generator, and you generate the banner, okay, using this content. And then you take the banner and the campaign text and you send it to HubSpot when you're file and the HubSpot via MCP, and then the campaign is launched. The campaign is launched on HubSpot. Okay, so again, also this one very streamlined: one person, one prompt, one agent, a few checkpoints along the way, but still it's something which is very, very easy to do. Okay. So another example I wanted to show is which is closer to our domain, is the ticket. Okay, so again, I had to I imagine myself to be, let's say, a product manager of the V15 because I love Dyson products and so of the V15. So I said, okay, so I need to every month to feed my engineering team with with relevant things that they can change, they can plan for change. And so in this case, I ask Claude again to check on the feedback for this product and come up with a briefing, and then to add a ticket on my Windchill, or in this case, we're using Jira, so my Jira project board. Okay, so I just hit the prompt, and so the agent is like doing all this magic. Okay, so since I was mindful of time, I already created I already ran this earlier to the agent. So let's say this is my space where I have all my tickets for my Dyson product. And so the agent checking the data from Wonderflow has extracted, let's say, important and relevant changes that should be attentioned by the engineering team. And we can see, it has pulled examples and it says, the most relevant things are linked to hardware defect, but some relevant one is the battery overheating. So the team has some relevant prioritized task to look into thanks to the agent. And again, I did this just with a prompt. Then of course I can check, maybe I already know something. I can maybe say that this is more important than this. I can change, but the baseline, the legwork has been done by the agent using Wonderflow data. Okay, so let's go back to see. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so he created the page. So let me. It's a V18, but it's the content is the same. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So let me fetch the presentation, which I lost it. Okay, that's why I lost it, because it's here. Okay. Okay. So as you said, so now that today, let's say there are the tools, okay, finally, for making customer intelligence matter inside your organization. Okay. And again, I want to stress the fact that, possibly if you are a smart company, you are a very, you are already entering a program, a phase where your IT is building your own agentic infrastructure. But be mindful that, again, those agents, in order to work, they need access to data. They need access to good data. Okay. If they don't have data, they won't do the right job. Okay. So that's why it's very important, very relevant that you connect your agents to the right data to make them smarter and more capable, more efficient in their jobs. That's it. So thanks. I think we have It was fast, so maybe we have some space time for questions.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Super nice use cases, and we'll work on how to pronounce hyaluronic later on.
Yeah, that's it's on my to-do list. Yeah, I need an agent for dictation.
Exactly. We have a question from in the Q&A box. It says, how to connect the MCP to Cowork. We use a custom tool to use generative models, and I'm interested in querying the server from this tool. I don't know if it's a question you want to take here or.
Yeah, so I mean the integration is really straightforward. So and again, it depends on the platform that you're using. But let's say from a private point of view, you just need a Cowork account. So from a private user point of view, you just need a Cowork account. Then you have your IT to be okay with that, but that's another story. So you just need a Cowork account, a cloud account with a pro license. You have access to Cowork. You add the custom connector. You follow you have basically to paste two strings inside the custom connector fields that Claude requires. These fields, they're available in our MCP integration documentation. And then you're up and running. Of course, you need to have a Wonderflow account. So if you don't have a Wonderflow account, if you don't have access to a Wonderflow scope, neither your agent will have. So you need forcefully to have a scope, a user account, a scope connected to it. But that's goes without saying. And in terms of using the model, again, it's up to you. It's up to the model that you have configured in your AI client, or that your IT has configured inside is allowing you to use. So, for instance, one of our customers, they're using like a GPT Anthropics model, and they can change. But maybe in your governance, maybe you are only allowed to use OpenAI models. So it's up to normally it's the IT who's governing this, and then links it also to the setup of this. Again, if you are in an enterprise environment, you should not use your private account to connect to the Wonderflow MCP. You would need to ask your IT to add the MCP connector to the edge AI, the agentic platform that they have built inside your ecosystem. Okay, and again, we did it for a couple of customers. They told us, the integration took literally minutes to do. So once it's done, it's done. The connector is there. It's available for all the users. The rule is the same. If a user wants to use the Wonderflow data, the Wonderflow NCP, they need to have a Wonderflow account. Okay.
Thank you. And I was really impressed by the use case on notifications. So I was wondering if you were to think other things you would like to be notified about besides what you showed us, like any other examples that come to mind?
First of all, so it depends a lot on the use case. So there are two type of things that the agent can notify you with. So it's like maybe you want just to have a recurrent report. It's not really a notification, okay, but you want to receive, let's say, a monthly recap about specific KPIs of a product, of a category, an overview, a competitor's landscape, like a dashboard. So this is not really a conditional notification, a warning system. It's more like a recurrent reporting use case. And it's something that can be done. You just need to tell the agents what you want to say. Okay, so maybe you want a presentation, or you want like a link to an HTML dashboard, or maybe just an email with an executive summary. And then we have another use case, which is, again, it depends on, so you can have a report about the market trends, a report about a specific product performance. Again, the use case are strongly connected to the type of job and role you have. Okay, so so they're more linked to the reporting. So another use case we have been one of our customers. So they wanted to know when one of their competitors was launching a new product. Okay, And so, like, warn me when this new product is popping up on e-commerce, and of course send me the reviews as soon as they appear, because I want to know what the people are think about this new product these competitors launched. And again, this is a use case that is it has two components, okay? And again, building the agent that does this, it's easy, as I said. The hard part is you need an engine that is capable of scanning the web, getting the reviews at high frequency, because maybe you want to know on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, okay? And this is where the Wonderflow platform kicks in, okay? So it's something that the agent can do, because we provide, the Wonderflow platform provides the tool, provides the data that the agent can use. Okay, so this is an example of a use case, or like the one I showed you earlier, like when people, maybe you're launching you're launching a new product, you want to know if the first delivery are shipped with the right content, or like I said earlier, some product is missing, so the post the first days feedback are we know that they are very relevant for the team who are observing the launch of the product, because then they can adjust the communication and do other actions based on the first insight that they get. Okay, so these are all use cases that, again, we know, because we have experience, because we learn them from customers. So it's also part of Wonderflow, let's say, support, we can call it, for that we give to our customers, guidance on what's relevant to monitor, what's relevant to prompt the agent, what outcome is relevant for our customer to expect.
Thank you. Super interesting. And in the meanwhile, we got another question. Doesn't the MCP need an update in a contract, or it's already covered?
So the MCP is a new component of our tool. So it depends on your license, okay, tier. But I think it's a new component, so it requires an upgrade to the contract. And then depending on the license, you have different, let's say, perks, okay. But yeah, you need an upgrade. Yeah.
Exactly. I see no other questions. Maybe if you want to ask some other questions, I think we still can. Otherwise, we will close it here. And if you want to discover more about Wonderflow, you can book a demo on our website. If you're already a customer and want to understand more the use cases of the MCP and start a conversation on this topic, you can reach out to your customer success manager. So let's not stop the conversation here. We can cover these also in meetings or emails. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And again, this MCP is something that we're very, let's say, excited about, because it's really a new way for companies to consume data. And again, it can be set up really easily if you already have a contract, a scope active with us. So I really would urge you to at least probe or ask us more about it, because it's something super relevant.
Exactly. Thank you once again, and have a great end of the day. Goodbye.
Thank you.